Hi, my name is Ray Naylor, and this is the Performing Songwriter. My guests today are David and Jenny Heitler-Klevans, and they are the group Two of a Kind. While Two of a Kind is most known as children's entertainers, they play for all ages. They have 8 CDs, 7 for children and 1 for adults. They have won 16 national awards for their recordings. John McCutcheon, who is a Grammy-nominated children's and folk musician, said of my guest, "How wonderful to hear family music that combines great songs, great ideas, and great musicianship." Let's meet David and Jenny. Jenny, David, how you doing?
Good.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
How long have you guys been performing and playing together?
Well, we started playing together shortly after we met in college, and so it's been about 28 or 29 years.
Now, both of you kind of come from, in some ways, a different musical history. Maybe you could each explain that.
Okay. Well, I've always sung with my dad, and around, my family sang some together. I was in choirs, and I took piano lessons. I also did a lot of dance when I was a kid, all the way through young adulthood. I did a lot of modern dance, so I learned about a lot of music history that way as well. I was in some musicals and some a cappella groups, so that's kind of my background.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Yeah, and I didn't do any of those choirs or musicals or things. I was more of an instrumental musician for a long time, a trumpet player, and then I started playing guitar and singing folk music in high school especially. So I grew up on a lot of different kinds of music, and I went to music school for composition, doing some experimental avant-garde type stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's also quite different from what we tend to do these days for children and for adults. But
I think I remember reading you were both of you were able to quit your day jobs and just you do full-time music.
Yeah, we've been full-time for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And a lot of our making that decision was related to when we had our twin sons, who are 20 years old. And
I remember when they were babies.
Yes. We
babies.
do too.
Yes. Well, I did not go to music school. I got actually a master's in public health, and I worked in family planning and public health for a few years. And then after we had our twins, I worked for another year. And we performed together throughout that time, but it was a part-time kind of thing. And then I just really wanted to be with my kids, and so I just figured, why don't we try this for a year and see, and we'll have a chance to be together as a family with our babies and all that. And then it just sort of never ended, so we're still doing it.
Jenny threatens periodically to get a regular job,
yes,
especially when we're not earning enough money.
Right, and we have like a bunch of little things as well as the performing. I do some teaching, and I've also started setting up programs for people to come into hospitals and do music for kids in hospitals. So we have a few other little things, but it's mostly the performing.
Okay. Yeah. And while you do cover songs, you also write a lot of your own.
Yeah.
Do you both write songs?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and we write separately, and we also write together. It's fairly convenient and nice to have a collaborator right in your house.
Oh yeah.
And because sometimes one of us will start a song and then be stuck on something and get some input from the other, or one of us will add a section to a song that's mostly by the other one. Sometimes we start from the very beginning writing together, and we're really used to how we work with each other. So even though it's not always easy, it's a lot easier than when we try it with somebody else. So we've tried a little collaborating with other songwriters, but we definitely find it it's the most comfortable working with each other.
I should mention we talked. I had said 7 children's songs, and 1 adult song.
Oh,
CDs.
CDs. Yeah.
It's actually 8 CDs
for
children.
kids.
Yes, and we're actually about to start on number 9.
Wow.
Number 9. Next week.
And this one is really going to be almost entirely our original songs.
Cool. Yeah. We're going to take a little break here. We're going to come back and do some more talking. But what I started to do a few shows ago is to pick somebody, performing songwriters that I like. And so we're going to do that now. And it's Kim and Reggie Harris,
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned earlier and that you know very well.
Yeah, heroes of
Yeah.
ours.
Yes,
And,
and friends.
Yeah, and they've been around quite a long time.
Yeah.
And actually, I found 3 videos that I've kind of put together. Not the whole videos of each, but just snippets. And the first one is actually 1980.
Wow.
And I had actually interviewed them in a little radio program I did at Hawaii University at that time. And then the second one is about 6 years old when it was at least put up. And the last one looks like it was recently put up.
Way of the world, keep on moving. Yes, it's the way of the world, keep moving on and on. Now you're just wasting your time, time waits for no one, and you're only fooling yourself if you say that we can't get along.
My pleasure to introduce 2 old friends of mine, friends of Philadelphia. They grew up in this town. And I'm talking about Kim and Reggie Harris, and here they are. Kim and Reggie.
There's a storm on the horizon. There's water where we thought it could not be. Every city, every town has watched that wall come down as the river takes our dreams out to the sea. One by one, we lose conviction. Devastation breeds confusion in the soul.
Smashed and battered, beaten down. We've been pushed to higher ground by a force that we once thought we could control.
Rock of ages cleft for me.
Let me hide
Myself in thee. Give me shelter.
will suffice into your hands. Place our spirit. Give our lives hands. Make us Lord of truth. Your love alone will suffice. Your love alone will suffice.
Okay, you were mentioning to me that Kim and Reggie actually played on one of your CDs.
Yeah, our most recent CD for kids called Sing Me Your Story. They joined us in the studio. We were really honored to have them because, like I said before, they're heroes of ours and they have such amazing voices and energy. And so they joined us on a song by Bill Harley called It's a Long Way, and also on the final song of the album where we had a whole lot of different people singing. It's a song celebrating singing together as a family because we've had the joy of doing that with our sons. So it's a song I wrote called Family Harmony, and you can really hear Kim and Reggie's voices coming through. We had a huge choir of like 47 people at the end of that song, but Kim and Reggie were a really important part of that. So
Right.
Now, a number of your CDs have won national awards.
Yes.
If you can mention what some of those awards were, but also, how do you go about doing that? Did you just submit your stuff, or?
yeah, there's submission
Yeah.
processes, and sometimes for some of the awards they charge a lot of money. In fact, there's certain ones we've never applied to because we've heard it's a little bit of a racket. But Parents' Choice is one of the more respected ones, and we've gotten a number of Parents' Choice awards.
There was an award that went for a while. I'm not sure it's still going, though. The Children's Music Web Awards. We won a number of those, and those were especially meaningful for us because they were decided by kids. In fact, one year when we did not have an album up, we participated and our kids participated in the awards process. So we got to hear a lot of a lot of albums and really listen carefully and think about them and what we liked and didn't like about them.
Oh.
Yeah,
So that was a really helpful process.
It's really interesting to do that, to be in a situation where you're evaluating other people's music in terms of how it affects what you do. So we found that was a long time ago, and it really did have a positive influence on us, thinking about what works and what doesn't, what we like, we don't. But it was especially, we were thinking about it, but it was our kids' votes that were mattering, but they were pretty young, so we were sort of helping them through the process, but we did let them decide.
Yeah. And they had a couple favorites that they still remember to this day, even though they're 20 now. Yeah.
Now, you've opened or shared the stage, whatever the proper term is, with a number of well-known people. I wanted to mention some of them. Pete Seeger, Peter, Paul, and Mary, Tom Chapin, and Trout Fish in America. I just wanted to ask you, when you kind of share the stage, so to speak, with those type of people, do you ever get nervous more than you normally do?
Sure.
Yeah.
But one thing that's so nice about both the worlds that we run in, the children's music world and the folk music world, is that really, with almost no exceptions, people are really nice, genuine human beings. So even if it's somebody that we have looked up to for our entire lives, like Pete Seeger or whatever, the only reason that we're daunted is because of us. It's nothing that they put on, put out there. So, we were involved with Pete Seeger partly through organizing big events like the People's Music Network Winter Gathering, and he was part of that. And
right before our kids were born.
Right, the weekend they were born. And so we, had a reason to interact with him about, organizing this thing. And he was just always thinking about how to make things better. That was the constant thing. In some ways, it was even a little annoying sometimes because, he would always see what was wrong with things, but he never stopped with what was wrong. He immediately then was like, and here's how we're going to fix it. So the activist in him came through in everything I think that he did. And certain people, like Trout Fishing in America, we shared a stage with at the Philly Folk Festival, and I remember them just jumping in and playing along with us. They're just really, they're those kind of guys. They're really nice and, was a treat to us to have them jamming with us.
And Tom Chapin, too, is just so nice and warm and, compliments us and as we're complimenting him. So it's, it's really great.
How about, when did you work or play with, open for Peter, Paul, and Mary?
Well, this was at the biggest event we ever did. We weren't really at all interacting with them at that, but we played at a big march in Washington a long time ago for about 500,000 people. They didn't come to see us. So a lot of them probably did come to see Peter, Paul, and Mary. But it was a big treat. There were a whole lot of people involved in that. Gloria Steinem
Jesse
and
Jackson,
and tons of people.
Yeah.
But that was terrifying.
When I got up on the stage and there's just like this sea of people, I think I remember just like having this moment of panic. And then I just looked down at the people that were just right in front and I sang for them. And then I was okay. But if you think about all these people there, it's just like...
Yeah, well, you can't really even comprehend it. When it's over a certain number of people, it just becomes meaningless. But so we didn't really have interaction with them as much as with some of the others. But
now, as we mentioned before, you play a lot in front of children, but also adults, and you have workshops that you do or have done. Is there a certain type of audience that you enjoy more than other audiences?
We really enjoy all audiences.
Yeah.
I mean, we gravitated to doing mostly work with children, partly because at the time when we first started trying it, we realized that the things that we loved about making music were more true at that time of children and the people who were with the children, either teachers or parents. And those two things were generally participation, interaction, singing along, and concern about making the world a better place. And when we started trying to do sort of folk venues in the late 80s, early 90s, neither of those things were really central to a lot of the venues. Singing along was looked on as old-fashioned. Social justice was kind of looked at. It was kind of the ascendancy of the personal, confessional singer-songwriter, and we were out of step with that in a lot of ways. Yeah. So, but as we've been getting back into doing more things for adults again, we've really been enjoying that too. And I think actually some of the things we've learned from performing for kids in, working to really keep engaging the audience are helpful things for all audiences.
And I think, for us, the really important thing is just that connection. It's not just we're up here and we're doing our thing and whatever, whoever you are, but it's like this connection and this engagement that we have with the audience so that we're all going on this journey together.
Yeah, and we know, we want the music to be good, but we know there are better singers, we know there are better instrumentalists, but what we pride ourselves in is really, I guess, being more focused on being entertainers than musicians, and making that connection and engaging.
Well, I think that's really important, and I think a lot of singer-songwriters don't even think of that. They think of their song, and that's kind of why I wanted to call this show the performing songwriter, not just the songwriter.
Right. Well, and I think different people care about different things, and I'm not saying one thing's better than another. I mean, I think there are people I love to see who are very much in themselves when they perform, but they're amazing, and I love seeing that, So I think there's room for all different kinds of things, but I've come to realize that what makes me excited is, more about that interaction, that connection that you feel with the audience than anything else.
Okay. Now, we're going to set you guys up to do a little mini concert for us, 4 songs. And while we're doing that, I'm going to have a video of what I think is going to be the next show. And what I mean by that is we're renovating this area down here. And I'm not sure when it's going to be done, so we may have to postpone some things. But do you know Aaron Nathans?
No.
I've seen the name before.
Yeah, Aaron's very good. And he plays a lot of times with Michael Ronstadt. Plays cello.
Okay, we might have seen them both at NERFA then.
You probably did.
And so fast forward to a year and I guess it was 2 months ago when Pete was lying on his deathbed. I was watching Bob Dylan's website to see if there would be any indication, any word of, hang in there, Pete. And then after Pete passed, I waited for a condolence message, and there was nothing. And so I felt the need to write this song. You sang of Medgar Evers in the Mississippi sun, a field of black kids gathered and a few white men with guns. In the picture I'm behind you, leaning in, my eyes are closed, and I can swear I saw the future behind that microphone. I am listening. If I had an axe, I'd cut that cord like you cut me away. One moment I'm your father, the next I'm your mistake. It seems that you're determined to leave a wreckage in your wake. Now all I can do is let you go your own way. Phil Oakes and Tom Paxton, you cut them off like your home state. You even cut off Joni Baez like you cut off your old name. I'm out among the people, I see they've set your stage at an old minor league ballpark. I doff my cap and wave, but for you the crowd is screaming. I can't make out what you say. Yeah, I had to buy a ticket, but it's good to see your face and hear your music. If I had an axe, I'd cut this silence, help you find some joy. They put you on a pedestal, but I know you're still that scared little boy, hoping somebody would listen to what you have to say. It's because I love you that I let you.
So this is a song that we wrote 19 years ago, And we were inspired by a bumper sticker and also the diversity of families in our neighborhood in Mount Airy at the time. And so this song is called Love Makes a Family, and you can feel free to join in with either of us. We have different parts. This year we were very happy when the Supreme Court finally caught up with us in recognizing the legality of same-sex marriage, because actually this song I think may have been the first song for kids that sort of came out and specifically talked about all kinds of families, including same-sex couples. Love makes a family, so many ways that we can be. I want the whole world to see that love makes a family.
I have a friend who was born far away. Her mom adopted her from China one day. Now this is her home, and she's here to stay. And her house it is filled with love. Love makes a family. So many ways that we can be. I want the whole world to see that love makes a family.
I have a friend whose parents live far apart. At first she was thinking it would break her heart, but after some time she can finally start to find two houses filled with love. Love makes a family. So many ways that we can be. I want the whole world to see that love makes a family.
There is a house across the street from me, filled with generations 1, 2, and 3. Grandparents, parents, and a little baby, and their house it is filled with love. Love makes a family.
So many ways that we can be. I want the whole world to see that love makes a family. Our friend has a sister and also 2 mothers. He doesn't have a dad and he doesn't have brothers. Through good times and bad, they take care of each other, and their house it is filled with love. Love makes a family. So many ways that we can be. I want the whole world to see that love makes a family. Love makes a family.
Many people celebrate Christmas, it's true, and Hanukkah's candles shine 8 nights through. In this season of light, whatever you do, may your houses be filled with love.
One last time, sing it with us.
Love
makes a family. So many ways that we can be. I want the whole world to see that love makes a family. That love makes a family. So one thing I forgot to mention before we did that song is that that's one song of ours that a couple people have recorded, and we're very pleased with that. And in fact, one of the first people to record that song besides us, Betsy Rose, recently put something up on Facebook that she had sung that song with teenagers in Thailand. So that song has gone international.
All right, so this is a song that I wrote with another person named Davey O, and we were at the Northeast Regional Folk Alliance Conference, and we were paired together to write a song just during that time of the conference, and we had a prompt. It was called Don't Worry, and so we wrote this song together called Now Don't You Worry.
You don't have to scream or shout from the highest mountaintop. It's nothing to worry about. It's just one of those bad days. One where all your bills came due. Didn't see that car in front of you. Feeling anxious, feeling blue. It's just one of those bad days. Now don't you worry, these clouds will pass by soon. A little light will bring some clarity, and you'll be singing a new tune. When you feel you've had enough, weighed down by all the small stuff, stormy seas and the ride is rough, it's just one of those bad days. Hole in the roof, hole in the floor, your ex is waiting at your front door. You gave her all your money but she wants some more. It's just one of those bad days. Now don't you worry, these clouds will pass by soon. A little light will bring some clarity, and you'll be singing a new tune. Sometimes you're crushed down by 1,000 little burdens. You've got to throw the weight off of that, I am certain. Clear your mind and don't keep score. You'll see the things worth fighting for. Now don't you worry, these clouds will pass by soon. A little light will bring some clarity, and you'll be singing a new tune. And you'll be singing a new tune. And you'll be singing a new tune.
This is a song that I wrote in the early 90s when the first Gulf War started, and I have updated it since then, and it's called, including today, I updated it. And it's called Crazy World.
And Jenny, I think, sometimes specializes in writing songs that are hopeful songs about depressing topics, and I think this was the first of that series.
Right.
So this is a song that I wrote called Least Little Thing, and you're invited to sing along. The last line of every section is the same. We like to give adults a chance to sing along as well as kids. And this is a song that I wrote a while ago when our sons were little boys, and now they are 20 years old and quite tall, not little at all. And some friends of ours like to rib me a little bit about singing the bit about in this song about my two little boys. But I like to respond that, it's a songwriter's prerogative to freeze time. Outside of science fiction, it may be one of the few ways that we can do that. And so in this song, our sons will forever be little. Only there, though. Before I go, I want to do something great. You never know when it might be too late. But in the end, it's enough to sing. There is greatness in the least little thing. Crave wealth and you might chase fame. You might want the stars to spell out your name. But in the end, it's enough to sing. There is greatness in the least little thing. Some folks long to be misunderstood. They think it's wrong to be earnest and good, but a simple song will make the whole world sing. There is greatness in the least little thing. My two little boys find great things all around. It might be a noise or a leaf on the ground. They seem to know what these small things bring, for there is greatness in the least little thing. And when they look up into my eyes, the love that's there takes me by surprise. It lifts me up like a small bird's wing, for there is greatness in the least little thing. And when we stand all side by side, the strength that's there to turn the tide, it'll shake the throne of the mightiest king, but there is greatness in the least little thing. Before I go, I want to do something great. You never know when it might be too late, but in the end, it's enough to sing. There is greatness in the least little thing. There is greatness, there is greatness, there is greatness in the least little thing.
Wow, okay. That was great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
How can people get your CDs, learn about where you're playing, that type of thing?
Best way is probably from our website, which is twoofakine.com, or as Kathy O'Connell likes to rib us, it looks like T-woofakine because of the way that website words all get smushed together. So two is all spelled out, T-W-O. We do have a Facebook page, too, which I think is just Two Kind, T-W-O-K-I-N-D. Those are the main things. best ways.
We tweet.
Yeah.
And
We do
you're
all that stuff.
on
Not
CD
all.
Baby, right?
Yeah, we're on CD Baby. Yeah.
Amazon. No, don't go to Amazon. Cut that out.
Well, thanks, Jenny and David, two of a kind. for
Thanks,
coming
Ray.
on.
All right, thank
I
you.
appreciate it a lot.
Okay.
You too.